Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute nuts and bolts of modern computer chips. If you've ever found yourself wondering how pieces of silicon and bursts of electricity actually manage to perform complex calculations, well, it all comes down to the fundamental laws of digital logic. We are going to completely decode how abstract Boolean algebra translates into the very real circuits that power our increasingly digital world. To help guide us, we'll be looking at some fantastic course material from Northeastern Hill University's Digital System Design class. And this perfectly illustrates why these foundational equations actually matter. They aren't just dry textbook exercises, they are the bedrock for massive, ambitious projects like India's semiconductor mission. You simply cannot design a cutting-edge microchip without first mastering these fundamental logic structures.
We are taking a real building block approach today. First, the basics of SOP and POS. Then, we'll explain minterms and maxterms, move on to standardizing with canonical forms, unpack the conversion relationship, and finally put truth tables into action.
Section 1. The basics. The yin and yang of digital logic. Think of our first two concepts as two complementary dialects spoken by every single digital system. The first is sum of products, or SOP. Basically, this is a Boolean expression written as a sum of product terms. In the language of digital logic, that means we are ORing together a bunch of ANDed variables. Oh, and a quick vocabulary check. Each of those individual product pieces you see in an SOP equation, we call that an implicant. Then we have the exact structural reverse, product of sums, or POS form. This is a Boolean expression written as a product of sum terms. So here, the expression is built out of individual sum terms, variables that are ORed together, which are then all multiplied or ANDed together at the end. Let's look at them side by side, because the visual difference is striking. On the SOP side, the mixed terms really stand out. You've got these independent little clusters of multiplied variables, like A0, B, that are simply added together. But on the POS side, it uses grouped sum terms inside parentheses, like A plus B, multiplying against each other. Structurally, they look completely different, right? But as you'll soon see, they are literally two sides of the exact same coin.
Section 2. The atomic units, minterms and maxterms.
If SOP and POS are the complex molecules of digital logic, minterms and maxterms are the atoms that build them. Let's start with the minterm. A minterm is a specific type of product term, but it comes with a brutally strict rule. Every single variable in your system absolutely has to appear exactly once. It can be in its true form or its complemented, meaning inverted form, but it has to be there. No variable is ever allowed to be left out.
To put that into perspective, let's use a two-variable example, A and B. Because we have two variables, and each can be true or false, we get exactly four possible minterms, which we number M0 through M3. Notice how in row M0, representing 0, 0, we get A0 and B0. Down in M3, representing 1, 1, we get A and B. For minterms, a 0 always means the variable is complemented, and a 1 means it's true.
Enter the maxterm. This is the exact complement to the minterm. It's a sum term where, again, every single variable must appear exactly once, true or complemented. They are bound by the exact same strict inclusion rule as minterms, it's just applied to a sum rather than a product. Now, what's genuinely fascinating here is how the mapping of zeros and ones completely flips compared to minterms. Take a look at capital M0, representing 0, 0. The expression is A plus B. Unlike minterms, a 0 here actually means the variable is in its true form, and a 1 means it's complemented. You can see that down in M3, which is 1, 1, giving us A0 plus B0. It is a perfect mirror image.
Section 3. Standardizing with canonical forms. Achieving perfection.
So we have our basic forms and our atomic units. Canonical forms represent the standardized, mathematically perfect way we combine them to describe a circuit. Here is the core dichotomy you really need to internalize. A canonical SOP expression is the sum of minterms. It specifically includes every minterm for which the function's output is a 1, which we write using the sigma symbol. Conversely, canonical POS is the product of maxterms. It looks strictly for the zeros. It includes every maxterm where the function outputs a 0, written using the pi symbol. SOP hunts for the ones, POS hunts for the zeros. Which leads us to a pretty massive question. If a Boolean function evaluates to 1 for a specific set of minterms, what in the world happens to the remaining maxterms? Think about it for a second. This isn't a trick question. but the answer creates the ultimate bridge between our two dialects.
Section 4. The conversion relationship. Bridging the gap.
Let's cross that bridge. The crucial point is this beautiful, incredibly simple rule. If a function is 1 for certain minterms, it absolutely must be 0 for the remaining maxterms. If your SOP expression is a list of minterm numbers, your POS expression is simply the list of the exact missing numbers all the way up to the maximum possible combination for your variables.
Let's methodically step through a 3-variable conversion because it is deeply satisfying to see in action. Step 1. We're given a function that is the sum of minterms 0, 2, 5, and 7. Since there are 3 variables, a, b, and c, our max index is 7. Step 2. Find the missing numbers from 0 to 7. Simple subtraction gives us 1, 3, 4, and 6. Step 3. We instantly know our POS form is the product of max terms 1, 3, 4, and 6. Step 4. We can then expand that into the massive formula you see. Just by spotting the missing numbers, we've completely translated the logic.
Section 5. Truth tables in action. Bringing it all together.
Now let's see how all this builds into a real-world scenario. A truth table maps out the exact conditions when a digital system is active versus inactive. Here's a standard 3-variable table. Notice how the function outputs a 1 at rows 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, and 1, 1, 1. Those correspond exactly to minterms 0, 2, 5, and 7. For every single other row, the function outputs a 0. This table is literally the master blueprint for a logic circuit.
And here's the magic. This single truth table instantly yields both canonical equations. Looking at the ones gives us our SOP form, the sum of minterms 0, 2, 5, and 7, which expands into that complex equation. Looking at the zeros gives us our POS form, the product of max terms 1, 3, 4, and 6. They look vastly different when written out algebraically, but they describe the exact same reality. They are identical representations of this specific truth table.
All right, let's summarize the big takeaways here. 1. SOP sums products while POS products sums. 2. Canonical forms strictly require the use of full minterms or max terms. 3. Their index lists are perfectly complementary. If it's not in one, it's in the other. 4. Any Boolean function has a unique canonical form. And 5, and honestly this is the most crucial part, these canonical forms aren't just academic trivia. They are the absolute, non-negotiable starting point for simplifying complex circuits later on. Using tools like Carnot maps or the Quine-McCluskey algorithm, you simply have to know the rules before you can optimize them.
I've left a quick challenge for you here. Grab a pen and try tackling these specific practice problems to really cement what we've covered. But as we wrap up, I want you to think about this. We have just taken incredibly complex circuitry and reduced it to simple missing numbers and a perfectly balanced dance of zeros and ones. If we can optimize logic this beautifully on silicon, what are the absolute limits of computational efficiency? Could future architectures eventually bypass these Boolean rules entirely, or is this binary yin and yang a permanent law of the digital universe? Definitely something to chew on. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next explainer.